you are trying to get a PhD proposal accepted but don't know how to even start, then this is a video for you. These are some of my top tips on what to do. And now I know this is a really big struggle because I remember when I was trying to do my PhD applications and when I was trying to go through all of this, I really didn't know what to do and how to start. But also I've been contacted by a lot of people through LinkedIn asking me, how am I in a top 10 university in the world? How am I in the #1 university for education in the world? Especially because I didn't actually get the best grades. I was a 2-1 student. I was a 2-1 student in my undergrad, and I was a merit student for my master's. So I didn't get the most amazing grades. I didn't get distinctions all around. But what I did, and what I wish I really knew, is the importance of networking. Now, I'm not saying you have to go to all these big networking events. Not at all, actually. I'm someone who I'm very confident, but for whatever reason, I really, really struggle, and I'm really not confident in academic spheres and networking for professional reasons. So I really struggle to go into a room of people networking and being like, hi, my name is Maryam Swahili and this is my research and this is what I do. I'm much better now doing my PhD than I was doing my master's or even my first year. So my first tip when I say networking is go through all your lecturers' profiles. Look at what they're studying, look at what their research is, look at their niche, and do that for all the people in the department and all of the departments that you're interested in, right? All of the university. This is hours and hours of research, but I promise you it is worth it. And the reason why it's worth it is you can then contact people that have similar interests in research, that want to do the same stuff you want to do, that you think you could work with well, and you can email them and say, hi, I love your research on this and that. I've realized that there's a gap of research on this. I actually would love to do my PhD proposal on this and that. Do you have time to set up a meeting? And if they're interested, they will. And that's exactly how I got both of my supervisors. So I actually emailed both, and one of them didn't end up coming to the meeting. So I emailed them both separately. So for my first one, who's now my my primary supervisor, I emailed her and she didn't show up to the email. And I could have taken this in one of two ways, right? I could have very much been like, oh, clearly she's not interested. I just need to cut my losses and move on. And it could have really deflated me. Or, and in my case, I used this as an opportunity. I emailed her saying, hi, we were supposed to have a meeting, but you couldn't make it. And I'm sure there was reasons behind this. So I just thought I would send you another email with more details of my research. And that's really where I bullet pointed everything. I said, this is some of the research I've looked at. This is the research I want to do. This is why I think it's interesting. This is why I think me and you could work really well together. And she actually got back in touch 20 minutes later being like, I'm so sorry. I had construction workers over and I just wasn't on my laptop. So I missed that we had our meeting. And she was like, I cannot believe, you wrote this email in less than 20 minutes and you added all this research in less than 20 minutes. Amazing work. Yes, let's set up another meeting. And that's what we did. And within that meeting, I was like, do you want to be my supervisor? Do you want to be my primary supervisor? And she's like, yes, I do. My second supervisor was actually my mentor during my master's. So a lot of universities will have a mentor and you get to meet this person to kind of discuss where you're going in your master's, but also to discuss what you want to do after. And I was so lucky I had the most incredible mentor. And she really, really was the reason why I'm so passionate about participatory research and having communities' voices heard, not only as interviewees, but co-creating the research with you and the design. So I then was speaking to her during one of these mentoring meetings and I was like, I'm really interested in doing a PhD, and I think you would be great to help me, but no pressure, I know you're very busy. And she's like, no, I'm very interested, let's do it. And the reason why I think this is really important is because we built this relationship and she could see how passionate I was. And because of both of my supervisors knowing that I really wanted to do this and I loved what I was doing, when I then applied for UCL, all UCL had to do is make sure that my research aligns with their research and that my research is ethically sound, right? They didn't have to then try and sell my research to someone else. I sold my research to those people. I contacted them and told them, this is me. Yeah, my grades aren't great, but I promise you, if you give me this chance, I will do it. I will do well and I will do you proud. And that works really well, because can you imagine if you are a lecturer or a supervisor and you're getting hundreds of PhD applications and it's just words. There's no names to the face. They don't know who you are. They don't know how passionate you are. They're going to end up looking at your grades and looking at your proposal, and that's the decision they're going to make. They're not going to make a decision based on you. They're going to make a decision based on what you've written, which sometimes, especially as neurodiverse, as someone who's dyslexic, my writing isn't amazing. I am sure there were students out there whose writing was better than mine, who got better grades than mine, but they didn't do the work of networking and having supervisors who already agreed. And some of them didn't get a PhD or wouldn't have gotten accepted, but mine did. And I think that's a really, really important thing to remember and know. The second thing is know that as small as your research sounds, it is going to take hours and hours of research and work. So I wanted to look at women's rights after prison. And then it went down to women's rights after prison with regards to employability, because just that, I've been doing my PhD for 3 years and I can promise you I haven't done all the reading that I need to do. There's so much information out there, and I always knew I wanted to do and look at racial and ethnic minorities and Muslim women, so that was always involved as well. But I also thought that I could do it on like the whole page, the whole prison community, men and women, and look at racial minorities, but also look at the differences with like the majority, so white people, and also look at migration, and also look at mental health, and also look at housing. And my supervisor sat me down and was like, yeah, you don't have 20 years to do this PhD. Like, you think 4 years is a lot, it's not a lot. And once you get into it, you realize it really isn't. So when you're doing this proposal, try and reflect that. Don't make them think that you don't know how much research is involved in doing all of this, because it is a lot of work. It's, yeah, just a lot of work. So that's my other tip for you. Know what you want to do and be passionate about what you want to study. It's a long time. It's hard work. The average, I believe, is something like 60 or 70 hours of doing a PhD every single week. It is above a full-time job. And you need to be passionate, because there are times, even with how passionate I am, that I just like break down and I'm like, is this worth it? Do I want to do it? It is 100% worth it, because I've always wanted to be a lecturer. I've always wanted to be a professor. I've always wanted to help people and be, I'm an activist, and I want to help women's rights, and I want to help prisoners' rights, because I really think these rights are so important and not looked at enough. So have that passion for what you want to study and what you want to look at, and always strive forward. There are times where you are going to break down because your research isn't going as fast as you thought it was, because you're not doing as much as you should, but you will get there eventually. And if that takes longer than you think it should, as a lot of people have experienced, then that's that, and that's okay. It took me over 1.5 years to get my ethics approved. I'm in my 3rd year of my PhD, and I'm finally about to start collecting data. There's always a hurdle. There's always something that you have to overcome, but you have to have the strength and passion within you to keep going. And my final thing is just know that PhDs can be very lonely, especially in the UK, because you are working on your own on a very specific topic. You might find people who are also working on similar topics to you, but for a majority of the time you're on your own. So definitely try and make friends in your first year, and just talk to people who are interested in similar things, and go to talks about what you're interested in, meet people there as well. Because as much as a PhD sounds like so much fun and you'll just be doing research all the time, a lot of it is sitting on your laptop doing your work for 10 hours of the day, not 20 hours. I've never done 20 hours, but I know people who have. So just remember that your passion has to drive you forward. Have supervisors that you love and will advocate for you, and do it in a department that you're interested in and can really support your academic growth further.